All right. Clint from the doorway too, hanging out with Seb from Suidakra. I really do appreciate you doing this very much. Been a fan of the band for probably twice as long as you've been in it. As far as as
Sounds
far
good.
as to say, uh, yeah. But so the first thing I kind of want to talk about is I want to talk a little bit about before you were in it and now the modern band itself. I know you probably won't have all the answers because you weren't there all the time, but I kind of want to get your perspective on it. So I think that, in my opinion, where I don't know if a lot of fans agree or not, I don't even know if you agree or not, but there's two very distinct band periods for me, and I feel like there's the last episode kind of releases, which are very much more mellow death and kind of pagan metal, but they're kind of got a black metal overtone. And then everything afterwards, I'm going to talk more about like the AMF and Central Media periods, moving on to now. Uh, do you feel that the fans, like myself, I've been a fan since probably 98. I'm an old dude, so I've loved you guys for a while. Do you feel that your fans have kind of carried on the torch with you, the flag all the way through, or do you feel like maybe around 2004, five, you got a whole new kind of audience?
That's probably that's a good question. It's probably a bit of both, you know. I think there are fans that are there from the beginning, like you are, that just carry the flag, like you said, carry the flag from the beginning to the end. But as well, as I said before, the band and the music and the members as well, it changed throughout the period of time. And of course, this brings up new influences, new styles, uh, something like that. It brings up new fans as well that
Mhm.
come into play and follow from there on. So I would say it's probably a mixture from the beginning till the end.
Cool. Yeah. No, and I feel the same way. I have friends of mine that are in their 40s like me that have loved your records early on and still continue on. And then there's guys that I talk to that didn't even know you existed until 2014,
Really?
15. And then kind of like, and then, yeah, just all of a sudden we're like, I started getting into more kind of pagan Celtic kind of music. And all of a sudden this band kept popping up to me and I had to check them out. So like,
Cool.
yeah, that's really cool. So I want to talk about, it says that you were in the band from 2009 to 2010. Now, the only thing I can find is you doing some backing vocals on a record. So, what were you doing in 2009 to 2010 with the band?
Oh, we actually we did a lot of touring and a lot of
Oh,
gigs around Germany, around Europe, and as well around the world, if you say so. I remember some gigs in the USA as well. So we did a lot of gigs during this period of time when I was in the band in the former time, like 2009 to 2010,
yeah.
yeah, like that. Um, yeah, that was basically it, and that was basically the problem I had. I did when I joined the band. I wasn't aware maybe that we've been or we will tour so much, and that's great. I mean,
Okay.
but the problem was a bit with my work, with my work. You know, that was the main problem because I love to tour, I love to play gigs and everything. I misjudged maybe the amount of gigs we were about to play, and I misjudged the amount of work I had to do in this period of time.
Got
And after that, I had to take the decision to step back from the band because I didn't want to stand in the way because they were at that time rolling high
Yeah.
and wanted to achieve more, and I didn't want to stand in the way because saying I don't want to play or I can't play. Of course I want to play, but I can't play a gig or something like that. So that was basically the problem there at that time. A
Cool.
lot of gigs, a lot of memories, a lot of great shows, and here and then some time in the studio, but that was a minor part at that time.
Sure, sure. So let's kind of fast forward to when you actually came in the band full time, which was probably what, 20, late 2017, early 2018? Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. I kind of thought I had the timeline right. You came in on probably one of the most controversial releases that you have ever put out as a band. And I either see people love this record or they literally hate this record. Now, I'm a huge fan when you guys mix the folk, the clean singing, the Celtic elements in. So I'm a fan of this record. But the Simbrick Yarns record, I've noticed a lot of people feel that it lost a step. I kind of want to ask you, when you came in, did you know it was going to be pretty much, and this is not being rude or anything, but like a completely non-metal record, like more of a folk-based album? Like, were you prepared for that, or did you just come in and get told, oh, by the way, the electric guitars are going to be almost non-existent?
uh, um, I have to start a little bit earlier because 2017 I came back. That's right, as a full-time member, but I really wasn't away the time when I left in 2010 till 2017.
Oh, okay.
So I was still writing music here and there with Arcadius and the other guys. I was joining them in the studio. Sometimes helped out live, even though it
Okay.
was a minor part. So I was always pretty aware of what's going on in the band. That was pretty cool because I could stay in touch with my friends and stuff.
Nice.
And so when in 2017 I decided to come back full time and official and everything again, I was aware that the Symbic Yarns, the acoustic album, was in the game, and
Okay.
we were finally able to do this because we were talking about doing a whole acoustic album a long, long time already. But it felt it was never the right time, the right place to do something like that. And after the Rams of Adoric album, and we felt it was the right time. It was yeah, it was the chapter. It felt like a chapter was completed. A chapter was completed in the
Sure.
band, and it was the right time to do an acoustic album, and that's what we did. And yeah, we had a lot of fun doing so. And yeah, I heard about it. So people love it, people hate it, but that's basically for most of the records you put out.
Well, I was going to say that anything from about 2006 forward has either been it's either been folks love it or hate it. And
Yeah.
the reason why I want to kind of talk about that period forward is, to me, that's when the band actually became into their own. Like right around that period, I'm going to say probably like they finally had their own sound. Like you could hear it, and if you picked up the record, you would know who they were. It wasn't like early on that you didn't have a cool, interesting vibe. I love the old mellow death, more kind of black pagan metal element, but at that point in time, in my opinion, that's when the folk, the Celtic, the kind of like, I hate using the word Viking, but like, Viking Celtic kind of vibes that came in that really kind of, I was like, holy shit, this is something like, I could really get myself behind. Do you, that you work from them, from 2008 all the way up in the background. Did you ever feel that maybe it was straying too far one way or another way, or were you guys always happy kind of mixing both those worlds together?
Yeah, I think the second one. It's just a natural progress. It's a natural progress of the band. Of course, it changes throughout the time. As I said before, influence as band members and everything. You get better on guitar. You listen to
Yeah.
different music and everything. So there's a natural progress, a natural change, and a wider horizon maybe as well. I mean,
Hmm.
as you said, there came in some folk influences, some Celtic influences as well, and of course, people that fell in love with the band in the first place, I don't know, 94, 95, so a long
Yeah.
time ago, they might feel a little bit hit in the head because of that. Because for people, it's a change, and they want to stick to the roots of the beginning, maybe, or something like that. But others feel it's like it's a progress. It's fresh, it's new, and they want to attend the band in doing so, and in the progress and everything. So um, it's it's always it's you have two kinds of fans maybe. people who love the progress and want to stick to it and are interested as well in the progress of the band, and other people who just say, and that's okay, maybe they say, I love the period of time, I don't know, 2005 to 2007, because
Yeah.
that was the music I loved, and afterwards, well, that's okay as well. You can never make everyone happy.
No, absolutely. And I totally get it. I'm going to jump forward to the new record because I want to talk quite a bit about that. Um, and it shocked me. And in a very good way, it shocked me because I was very probably poorly minded in a mindset of how your band was sounding again. So I knew there was going to be the folk songs. I knew there was going to be the death metal songs. I knew there was going to be the black metal and, Celtic metal, Celtic elements in the band. But with Wolfbite, you guys got serious old school balls again. And I just like when I first heard that record, I was like, oh my God, I'm 16 years old again. Listen, this is Suidakra. Because the guitars are not only heavy, but they're melodic, they're catchy, and there's this amazing kind of sing-along vibe between the two of you now, which I haven't heard in quite a while. Like it's almost been like, okay, this is going to be the clean folkier song, and this is going to be the death metal song, and then every once in a while we'll merge one together. When you wrote Wolfbite, did you guys realize we want to bring some of those older sounds back in?
I don't. We didn't write Wolf, but particularly in that kind of matter, I would say. Um, but some old writing process came up as well. I mean,
Okay.
it's still in the blood. You just say
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
But it wasn't written in this purpose of getting old sounds back. It was written more in the purpose of showing the story right, the storyline behind it.
Cool.
And at this time, it just everything felt right. Um, Even though the pandemic hit, we uh, made a decision just months before the pandemic to write and record everything remotely at home and not go in a regular studio like a long time before. Like always we did before and go in the studio. So we decided to record everything at home, take our time, and then send the final project later on to a studio. And that helped as well because we had so much time, relaxed time to work on the music as long as we wanted at home.
Mhm.
At time, um, it gave us so much space, and I think that's what you feel and hear in Wolfbite as well. That we put everything in every song. I mean, it's not
Yes.
a rush through, but we took our time for each and every song. And after we thought, now it's the time to finish it up because it's perfect now. We feel it's perfect, and we did it. It was not like in the studio where you have a fixed timeline. It has to be done in I don't know 2 days the song or something, and afterwards, after listening to it, I don't know 3-4 months later on, you think, oh, maybe I should have done this and we could have done that, and at this time we had every time in the world to do something like that. We fixed everything. We edited everything we wanted. We put everything in with our guest musicians. We have variety again on the album. So I think we put everything in, not soul, not
Nice.
hard, but everything.
Yeah, it's probably the most cohesive record that I've heard since like Eternal Defiance, in my opinion,
Okay.
where uh, uh it's got every Sudatra element in it, which is so nice to me because like if I play this record for someone, records and you'll be able to get something out of it. And I love that kind of vibe again, like where it literally has, I'm a sucker for bagpipes, my friend. Okay. I'm just telling you, like every time I hear those, it makes me smile with your band. Um, but it was just very cohesive. So I kind of want to ask a couple questions about the record in total. Um, so when you were recording the vocal lines and the vocal arrangements, was it very kind of matter of fact that these were your lines, these were his lines, or did you kind of just play around with the vocal arrangements? Because it almost feels like it's very kind of whatever is going to work best at this point in time for that harmony or melody that's going on.
Hmm. Yeah, that goes back to the first start of the writing process. When we before we start writing music, we have the whole storyline, the whole concept, and even the lyrics already written by Chris on our desk. So
Mm-hmm.
we know exactly what the song needs. If it needs aggression or it needs mellow parts, and you know something like that. So on that basement, we write the songs. So we basically know that an aggressive vocal part or aggressive lyrics um, need to be sung by Arcadius. You know,
Yes.
so it's it's a mixture of experience from the last albums we already did, and combined with the story and what it needs. And after we've done all the songs, or after we've done one song, you can say, after we are ready and have a demo song, we came together with Chris and Arcadius and I, and we were doing a Skype or Zoom session at that time, and we were working through the whole song with the lyrics on our desks, and we're working every line. We're checking where it would fit. Where's the chorus? Would it fit with the atmosphere? Would it be clean? Better? Would it be in aggression? Would it be maybe female vocals like Tina did in the Darkanian Slave?
Yep.
And it really felt right in place very, very soon because we just had it in mind. We felt it already where everything would fit.
Perfect. Awesome. So I'm going to jump back to the 2019 release, which is a re-recording of a whole bunch of different songs. And it's called Echoes of Yore. Uh, I kind of wanted to ask, was it just something that the band wanted to do, that it was pretty much a newer lineup and kind of rework those songs in their vision? So when you play it live, it's more your kind of thing than like the past. Because honestly, besides a better production, I don't feel there's a drastic change in the songs. It just some of the older songs just sound better, if that's like the best way I can say it. It literally is just a re-recording in my opinion, to modernize the tones in a little bit. But what was the mindset to be able to do that record?
Yeah, you know, the bands, we were at the point the band was around for 25 years, so we wanted to celebrate it in the right way. So we were thinking about different things we could do, maybe a tour or
Okay.
another record or I don't know, something like that. But everything felt so unspecial, normal, and we wanted something really, really special for the fans who brought us to the 25 years of Suidakra. And very, very soon we came up with the idea, why not to record older songs from the history of Suidakra to the 25 years, to record them again, re-record them, shaping it up a bit, do a modern sound, and everything. A lot of songs in former times they were recorded without click track, just
Yeah.
free time. If anyone is ready to play, they play. The sound wasn't as great as it should have been, and as well the time wasn't in the studio. You didn't have enough time, maybe sometimes money, to put everything in you wanted to, and we wanted to do that for the fans, and that's why we came up with this decision. But we wanted to, yeah, and that's why we came up with the crowdfunding idea. We just wanted
Yep.
to know if it's we didn't want to put it out and here you got it, but we wanted to know if the fans are really interested, and they were writing the whole album, if you can say so. They were doing the whole artwork process. They were choosing the songs. They uh, writing notes. They came into the booklet and artwork and everything. So it was basically an album from the fans for the fans. And
It very much feels that way. So that's why I was asking. So
yeah.
very cool. So I'm going to ask you, being that you've toured with the band for so long as well too, is there any particular period that you like to play live? Is there any certain songs or certain records or certain periods that are just more fun live than not?
Periods of music we brought out, or what? What do you mean?
Yeah, Yeah. Do you like to play the more earlier material? Do you like to
Oh,
play the more mid period, like stuff like that? Like, because I've been lucky enough to be able to see you guys live once, and you're not one of those bands that shy away from playing early material, which is very nice to me. Like, I like that I get to see, like, Lays from Afar material, which is like my favorite personal record. Like, I go back and like that's when I kind of started with the band, and like that's like when I hear tracks off of that, I was like, hell yeah, all right, like I get to be a kid again with this record.
yeah.
But is there a certain period, like do you like to play some of the earlier material? Do you like to play the more mid period, or is it just fun to do it all? Like, that's fair enough as an answer too. So
Yeah. Um, it's not an easy. Yeah, I have to think about it because when we play live, we for sure have to play songs from every period, if you say so, for the
right.
people and fans in the audience. So that's basically what we always do, um, to bring songs from every period to the fans. But for me personally, I just love putting in songs in the set that have sometimes never been played before. That
Nice.
that's something I really enjoy. Or maybe putting in my vote for playing a song that has only been played once or twice or something like that. So I really enjoy
Gotcha.
working on. So in this case, most probably the older songs, and that's what I really enjoy. And sometimes we do it. It's just a matter of how can we rehearse that? Are there still tabs around? Because it's sometimes there are some ideas in the room that play a song that's 20 years old, which is a
Yes.
nice idea, but it's also a lot of work, and it has to be a special one as well.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I'm sure trying to remember a song from 23 years ago is not the easiest thing in the
No,
world. So,
that's right.
yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, no,
Right.
I'm
Well,
totally good with that.
yeah. So
Um,
so basically that. But besides that, Dead Man's Rear is one of my favorites, just because
nice.
it has to be one song in the set always because it's an instrumental song, and the audience just um, goes crazy
Of
doing playing the
course.
song.
Cool. So the next thing I'm going to kind of ask is, uh, being that the band is based in Germany, do you feel like maybe sometimes they get lost in the mix because of the style that you play? And the reason why I ask it like this is you're not from Scandinavia, you're not from the UK, where these kind of things were actually much more grandiose. The whole pagan metal, the whole kind of epic metal side of things. I love a lot of German metal bands, don't get me wrong, but like I feel like sometimes the German metal scene gets lost or gets mixed into everything else because there's so many bands more in that traditional metal style, more in that kind of thrash metal style. You feel like if maybe at one point in time moved to the UK or moved to Scandinavia and said you were a Scandinavian band or a UK band, that it would have helped the lore of Suidakra at all. I'm just kind of curious about that.
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe not. I don't know. It's maybe it's a good thing that we are based in Germany because when you hear a German band playing Celtic folk something metal, maybe that's the point where it gets interesting for people
Right.
to listen to it. If you're a Celtic metal band, I don't know, doing Scottish stuff, and you're based in Scotland, it's maybe like, yeah, they're probably doing good doing so, but there are a lot of other bands doing great as well in Scotland, maybe. So I would say it's it's good that we're based in Germany because the people are more interested maybe in listening to the music then.
Awesome. Yeah. I feel the same way when I saw where you were from and the kind of music you were doing. I was like, that's really cool that they're kind of just doing what they love versus maybe it's just natural influences from wherever they are and that kind of music. Because I mean, don't get me wrong, I love the Skyclads of this world and stuff like that, or that do that as well too. But you can very much see that it's what they live, it's what they breathe, and that's kind of why they did what they did. Um, I want to talk a little bit about your guitar tone because it's a very different tone than what older Suidakra, in my opinion, was. You have a much more melodic kind of warm. I can tell the different guitar tones. I'm a musician myself, so like when I hear the guitars, you have this much. When I hear your guitars, they're in the best way more upbeat. They have this really great tone to them. So talk to me a little bit about what you brought to the picture of the band as far as guitar playing and arrangements and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's yeah. I mean, it's the first, or no, it's the second album I'm with a full time as a full time member, and I brought all my influences in the music as well. So Wolfbite is the second album I'm
Mm-hmm.
from the beginning to the end full time in there, you know. And for sure you hear that. I mean, although in last recordings, basically most of the guitar stuff was written and done by Arcadius, and it's great stuff. But and you hear that it's done by Arcadius, of course,
Yeah.
because he's got his own great musical style. And I brought in my own style, and I come more from a melodic death metal point of view. I grew up, started growing up with Iron Maiden, Metallica, all the bigger bands, but I moved over to the Swedish kind of melodic death metal side later on, and that's probably what you hear sticking out in Wolfbite here and there, because I was doing the lead guitars most of the time there recording. Um, so yeah, and the sound, of course, I've got a different guitar than Arcadis is using, and the sound as well. As I said before, it's not done in the studio we've been before. We've always been in the same studio, but this time we did it remotely and everything, and we went to the Pitchback studio, which is an online studio. So the sound as well changed a bit. So that's a
Okay.
combination probably. Yeah, but it's great that you hear that.
Well, I was going to say that there's and now I can say it with a lot more comfortableness to talk to you about this. There is a very dark tranquility kind of guitar tone to it, which uh, they're one of my favorite all-time bands. So when I heard that, I was like, God damn, they got that Swedish mellow death sound like down right now, and it's so nice to hear because it works so well with this band. Even early on, it had that kind of mellow death sound, but it was more aggressive. It was more ugly. Like you brought the mellow to mellow death, like the melodic elements, and I really do appreciate that because I'll be honest, over the last 10 years, Suidakra has had great songs and not so great songs to me. Like there's just been, and I think it's because of the revolving lineup where it seems now there's a little more cohesiveness, if that's the best way I can say it. And you guys now for the last couple years have been able to work together, and you can hear it on Wolfbite. So
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, cool that you hear it, and thanks for the nice words.
nice, absolutely. So let's talk a little bit about the live show. For someone who's never seen the band before, how would you explain a live moment with the band versus a recorded, like listening to the album?
um, we sometimes fuck up the playing. This could happen sometimes, not very often though. But just a live moment. Um, you have to be live there. I mean, how can you? The difference is maybe that you hear that it's live. I mean, there are bands around that you stand in front of the stage and you listen to the music, and it's like, okay, I can listen to the CD as well because there's
Right.
no real change. I mean, it's bombastic. It's sampler stuff, and the guitars and drums are a little bit in the background, so everything is tight and everything is polished and everything. Um, but when we were on stage, of course, we're using a sampler as well, and we're using click tracks and everything. But it's more natural, I would say. It's more natural. We have a lot of fun playing live. That's basically what we do. What we love to do. I mean, we love writing new music. We as well love to put it on a CD, on a record. But in the end, it's would not say worthless, but it's meant to be on stage, and we have to be on stage. And I think that's what you can see and feel when we play. It just it sounds live, you know. There are some fuck ups, but there's some tightness as well, and we move around. It's I think you have to be there.
Well, that's what I was going to say. When I saw it, it was the greatest experience for me because it wasn't the record. Like, you guys legitimately sound like a live band. It's a little sloppy. It's a little messy. It's just wonderful. Like, when you go see a live band, you want to feel the passion, the emotions. And if this song brings a more aggressive vibe, that's what you want to hear. If this song brings a more, you know, fan inspired epic sing along moment, then that's what this should be. And when I saw you guys live, that's exactly what it was. And to me, the fuck ups are special. So how you say that? No, because that just tells me that whoever at that point in time is so into it, they may not even be thinking about what they're playing. They're just doing it because they're vibing off the audience, they're vibing off the song. So the way you said it was very, very succinctly awesome that I wanted to hear it. Um, is there anything that you would feel that you wouldn't want to do live? Is there any kind of songs or arrangements or anything that like live you just know would be a bad idea in front of an audience?
Everything we put out on CD, as said before, we want to play it live. You know.
Okay.
I think every song is it's not, how can I say, it's not particularly a live song. Maybe it's but it's sometimes it's not working live. That's what I mean. You have to decide. Of course, we cannot play everything live that's been put on a CD. It's more, how can I explain my thoughts right
Okay.
now? It's just a matter of first of all, your question. Yeah, we would play everything live. So there's no song wouldn't play because we are embarrassed or something, or we didn't think we want to delete it or something like that. Because everything we put out on CD, we stand behind it, and I think it's a great one. Otherwise, we wouldn't put it out, you know. But on the other hand, that's what I started trying to explain is it working live? Is the song a live song? And what comes into mind is actually a song, Gilded Oars. We tried live once or maybe twice.
Okay.
We love this song from the Kogacht album, and I think we did it in Los Angeles actually. And we were thinking about, yeah, it's a great song. Let's play it live. It's awesome. And we tried it live, and it didn't work. I mean, it just didn't work. The audience was like, yeah, it's cool, but the reception was not there, you know. So
Absolutely.
there's songs around that probably work on the CD, and we would play live because we love the songs we write, but it's not working. It's just not working. It's not a live song, if you will.
Oh, absolutely. No, completely, great way to say it. So I'm gonna be kind of a nerd and break down something in my mind to you guys right now because I kind of want to ask this question. Uh, so you worked with AMF Records for so long. Like there was that was probably the bulk of your career as far as with a label, and those records are probably the most diverse, I would like to say, in your period where um uh, honestly the band, in my opinion, when I listen to it, is like, we're just going to record what we want. If you don't fucking like it, then listen to the next record that comes. And that I love you guys for that because it's always something new and fresh. But that was a very turbulent time, I kind of feel, for the band. A lot of lineup changes, a lot of kind of members in and out, different sounding records. Like one record almost didn't sound like the next record. Was were those turbulent times something that made those records extra special, or was it just like, you know what, if this person doesn't work out, let's move on to the next person and make the next record?
Yeah, still the natural progress. It's
Okay.
I just wouldn't. It fell in place with AFM, but it wasn't, of course, based on AFM that this happened. I mean, it was just a period, as I said before. I think the records are still great, but yeah,
Hmm.
it's diverse. They sound different here and there, and on the first hand, it's meant to be like that. It's meant to be that, of course, the acoustic album is different to Rams of Adoring and everything.
Yep.
All the members changed a lot, so it's I don't know. It's just the natural progress in the band. I guess it's just what happened at that time, with the in and outs, with all the stuff that happened. Um, yeah. So that fell in place with AFM. That's right.
Yeah, it's the most turbulent, diverse time for the band, and it's some of my favorite records. So that's kind of why I was
Yeah.
asking, because like there's some songs that just blow me away, and I love that there was a lot more kind of interplay with male and female vocals and acoustics and electrics and the more heavy side of things. If there was one record out of your entire career that, I don't care if you played on it or not, this that has nothing to do with this whatsoever, is there one record that you would hand someone if they've never heard your band before and say, this is the record to listen to because it's going to encapsulate the best elements of Suidakra?
Yeah, and that's an easy one. I would choose Wolfbite, because it's the most complete record maybe of Suidakra. It's the I mean, where we came from till the end, right, that's where we are right now. That point, that's where we are right now, with all the members in, and all we've done and we've been through, with all the influences, with all the records we've put out already. Everything went into this recording, and I think it's yeah, it's basically the most complete Suidakra album maybe, and that's the first album I would hand over, because it's just up to date. It's right now.
That's awesome. No, and I was gonna say the same thing, but I was afraid to kind of bring it out like that because I hate saying, "Oh, our newest record is the greatest record," because you know those bands that always do that, and it might be a steaming pile of shit. But oh no, our new record's gonna be the best record. But honestly, you're one of the few bands that over the years you get better. You don't get worse. You're actually becoming more interesting, more original, more diverse. You're adding the old, the new, and something different. Like, and that's really exciting. So following up on that with Wolfbite, uh, so is this the first proper like original like just record with this new label that you're working with, or have you done anything? Like, I know you put the acoustic record out, but like I said, this is the first true like Suidakra record, like where it's metal, folk, Celtic all together, right?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, the last standalone metal long player was the Rams Obodoric in 2016, and that was
Yeah.
brought out at AFM. So at MDD Records, where we are right now, we brought out the Echoes of Yore, which is not a standalone metal long player.
Yeah.
It's the record, the re-recording, Simbric Jans was as well AFM. The Lupine Ascents we brought out as well. That was the makeover again, a
Yeah.
re-recording that was done by MDD Records as well. So yeah, you're right. The Wolfbite is the first new record brought out on MDD Records. That's right.
So I kind of wanted to ask about MDD. Uh, how did that come about? Because they seem to have to be honest, a shit ton of artists, like a lot of artists. And it's not really a label that I was very aware of before. How did you kind of partner with them? And are you happy with the circumstances that are going on right now? Because I'm seeing a boatload of promotion for this record. And that's kind of nice because, uh, be honest, I think AFM at the end kind of lost a little steam. And if you weren't a fan of the band, you really didn't know a new record came out. So that was kind of a sad piece. Like I was trumpeting the horns for you guys to my friends. I'm like, look, a new Suidakra record came out, guys. You got to listen to it. And like, they're like, what? They didn't really know about it. How do you feel this new label is doing for you guys?
Um, yeah, after the AFM period, we were at the point where we have to decide where we could continue. So at that point, we were playing, or actually Arcadius and his friend Asbach and Martin were playing in the band called Fall of Carthage, and they are signed by MDD Records. And I was joining them always live, playing bass guitar, so that's a lot of fun as well. So there was the connection first of all, and at a point where we had to decide where to continue, where to sign after AFM, MDD Records came into mind, because Marcus, the owner of MDD Records, is he's just an awesome, great guy. He has got a small label, that's right, with a lot of bands, but he puts in so much passion and love for music and all the members. It's just absolutely incredible. It's just absolutely incredible, and that's what we were searching for. That's what we wanted. I mean, we don't need a big label who's not really supporting us, because there are a lot of other bands, tons of bands, and promotion is flowing around somewhere. You don't know if you're in it or you're not in it. At an MDD, we knew that Marcus would put in every single bit of his heart, and the direct connection as well. I mean, we know Marcus. We
Yes.
get in contact with him very easy. We can call each other anytime. We can decide on things to do so easy and so fast. And so the decision to move over to MDD was done really soon, and quite soon. And we are so happy to be there, because he's, as I said before, he's just 110% into everything we do, but overall the music, you know.
He seems to love it. So I and that's the great thing, because I see the press, I see the promotion. When I talked to your PR folks, they were all hyped on it too. So he's just got that energy, which was like, and you know, a band with a 30-year career is not the easiest band to get in touch with. So, you know, I just kind of threw a stone out and said, like, look, I love this band. I don't know if anybody can, you know, I don't care who talks to me. Like, as long as somebody in the band can talk to me about a band I love, let's do it. And she just like was like, no, they're all into it. We'll get it done. The label is totally behind it. So it's really nice to see somebody give a shit about a band that I love again. Like, it's really nice to see.
Yeah.
And honestly, to me, it is your best record in a decade. Honestly, like I really do love this record. I have had it on repeat probably 15, 20 times over the last month or
Cool.
so, just because I'll be doing. I work remotely from home, so I can just listen to music whenever. I'll just put it on in the background, and then I'll hear it come on, and I'll be like, "Oh, okay, here it is. I get to listen to it again. That's awesome."
Yeah.
Uh, I kind of wanted to ask you on that side of it. Um, if you had to describe Wolf Bite's sound, and just Wolf Bite, I don't care about the other records, because, like I said, this is probably the most cohesive one. How would you describe it to someone that's going to listen to the record for the very first time?
Um, yeah, it's a mixture basically of the main thing is melodic death metal, some folk and Celtic influences as well. It's got some modern and old touch as well. It's got all the history of Suidakra included as well. I mean,
Yeah.
that's basically the foundation, and everything builds up from that. There's a lot going on, and I just don't mean playing wise, but all the instruments that are going on. And I think there's just the sound overall is just, as I said before, the melodic death metal and folk and everything. That's probably what I say. The sound is, you know.
Perfect. No,
You should,
awesome.
but I think you should listen to it by yourself to figure out what you think. You know, it's so difficult sometimes to describe a sound. I mean, a lot of when we do interviews and everything, and people try to describe our music, it's everything. I read everything already. What music is for people and how they sound like. So it's very difficult to explain what the sound really is. So
No, perfect. Yeah. So again, I came into the band at a very kind of early aggressive sound. So uh, I love that those old elements are there again as well. But I also love, again, like you said, the Celtic and folk elements and the more pagan kind of elements that come into it as well too. Uh, I kind of want to talk about the artwork because for the first time in a while to me, the artwork kind of tells the story of the record as well too, where the last couple of records I feel like it was a really cool piece of art that may have not have been 100% what the, but you look at this artwork and then you listen to the story. Can you kind of talk to me a little bit about how the art played a role into the actual storyline as well too?
It's plays a huge role. I mean, it's still it's a concept album again, like the Rams of Adoric as well. Chris Vervin, as you probably know, is the artist,
Mhm.
who's doing all the lyrics. He's doing all the artwork as well. And from the beginning of Rams of Odoric, he's done stuff like that. And as well, it's a concept album. And on the Wolf Bite, you see the main character Alaric and on the front cover, and he's wearing the wolf hat. So that's a direct connection as well. Um, so yeah, you see in the artwork already what's going on in the songs and in the record. And besides that, the whole record has a comic book as well. This time, a
Mhm.
45 pages comic book. So every song that's been played on the record is as well documented as a comic book, and so you can read through the whole story, but as well listen to it on the CD. So everything is a very tight connection between the artwork that Chris is doing and the songs that are on the album, and that's what we show or mostly try to show on the front cover. We saw in Realms of Odoric got with the great Odoric on the
Yeah.
front, you know. So most of the time you see what is going on or what's the main character or the main purpose or behind the whole album.
Perfect. Awesome. So, are you as a band gonna start going out playing live again now that things are starting to open up in the world, or is it kind of a wait and see attitude where you are?
Yeah, at the moment it's still wait and see. I mean, we love to come out soon and play live gigs, but it's just not that easy. I don't know. I don't know how the situation is in the US currently, but in Germany it's more or less there's some gigs, but very strict hygienic concepts there, and it's not sure if it's going to stay like that or it's getting more open or it's getting more closed. So there's no real chance to plan anything. It's just very difficult. We have some shows in the pipeline that we were supposed to play nearly 2 years ago already,
Okay.
but they've been postponed and moved to next year and next year. So there's still some shows in the pipeline, but we're still not sure if they're going to take place at that time. We have some ideas playing shows. We want to do a tour. Of course, we want to promote Wolfbite. It's we want to play live, but it's just we don't know when. It's just very difficult. And they're talking about a fourth wave already here in Germany that might
Uh,
come our way. So, as I said before, it's just not plannable. It's just
understand.
a mystery.
So in the US, I've honestly I got to see my very first live show last week.
Oh, okay.
See a live show, and things are starting to open up pretty much in August, where there's I think 15 or 16 tours coming. So it's yeah. So if you guys can get an opportunity to come to the US, I'm just telling you, it is opening up to a place to be able to play. So trust me, guilty pleasure for Clint here, but you guys come to the US, I'm gonna see you. Like that's awesome. But yeah, there's a lot. It's starting to open up a lot here. We've heard about the fourth wave too, but it seems to not be something that is locking down us right now. But like I said, I hope you guys get to be able to play live, because I've only been fortunate enough to be able to see you one time live, and a second time would be very good for me to be able to do. Um,
Absolutely. Where was it? Where was the first time? Where did you see it?
so I saw you in, if I remember correctly, it was New York. Um, and it was a long time ago. You might have actually been on the tour. I'm not sure. It was like 2010,
Oh,
11,
was it the
something like that.
BB King or something like that in New York? Was it that?
Yes, it's
Oh yeah, that
exactly
was,
where I saw you.
yeah, I remember that. It was great. I mean, it was of course New York, so everyone remembers. It was a
Yeah.
great time, and I remember the BB King. Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly where I saw you. I was living in New Jersey at the time, and
Oh,
I
cool.
got lucky enough to see you. So that was a very cool moment for me. But like I said, what I'm gonna do is kind of give you the last couple of minutes of this interview to talk about anything you want to talk about, anything that's upcoming, anything special you guys want to talk about for Suidakra. Just so I can kind of give you the floor now.
Okay. Yeah. Well, first of all, thanks for all the support over the years. I mean, we wouldn't have been there where we are with all the fans around the world that brought us here, and it's just great to see that we have such a support around the world. It's just really amazing. It's really cool. And of course, we want to come back to US. I mean, we have so many great memories touring the US, and we've been to a lot of places there, and it was always just awesome. And I hope to, yeah, with the pandemic, we get the pandemic overcome, so we can start touring again and see each other again, party our asses
Mhm.
off, and drink some beers like before. That would be the best. And something that's coming up is just the planning on playing live. I mean, we're just thinking about stuff that might come our way this year, next year, but it's just not for sure. Yeah, we will see what happens, but we definitely want to play live. Besides that, we're working on several projects. Arcadius is doing several projects. I'm working on other stuff as well with him, bringing out a side project called Dragon Breed pretty soon. Um, and he's doing, of course, the Rams of the Doric Orchestra stuff
Yeah.
and with Chris, and he's doing a lot of stuff, as you probably know. He is busy, uh, but he's enjoying it very much as well as I do. So yeah, that would be awesome to come back to the as I said before. Maybe Phoenix. You're based in Phoenix, right? You're
Yeah,
based.
absolutely. That's where I live right now. I'd love you to come to Phoenix. Come
Is
on.
it 120 degrees or more?
So actually yesterday it was only 112, so it wasn't that bad, but yeah, the next week is supposed to be super super hot again. So
Crazy. It's crazy. I've been there once in the summertime. I've been to
Tucson, yeah.
Tucson, and Sedona. It's in the north,
Yeah.
right? Sedona is in the
Yeah,
north.
that's about an hour and a half north of me. Yep.
Yeah. So everything, basically everything is just it was hot. It was so extremely hot.
Pretty much from May straight to October. It's just hot. That's just
Yeah.
what it
Yeah.
is here. No, I appreciate it so much. Seb, again, thank you so much for doing this. Really do appreciate you taking the time. Suidakra is just one of my favorite bands, so it was a real honor to get to talk to you about this. If you do come to the U.S., we will definitely hang out, have a beer, and kind of just chill out in the heat. That sounds like a plan, man.
It sounds like a
Um,
plan.
all right. So thank you so much again, Clint from the Doorway too. Really do appreciate it. You have a great day, man.
Thank you. You too. Thanks for having me. And
Bye.
cheers to everyone out there.
Absolutely.
All right.